Hi, welcome back to another video that I haven't filmed in ages. I did film a video last week, but due to unforeseen circumstances, which I will go through in this video, I didn't post it because it was shit. But it is Wednesday the 12th of August, and I competed a bit of time ago. We're off season now. And I thought I'd just take you through another full day in the life of eating and shit, because everyone likes food, and I'm training legs. I'm training legs soon. I have basically just finished sorting out my pre-workout meal. I am now sorting out my rice, and then me and Molly are going to go and train legs together. And Molly is absolutely in the best mood of her life today, aren't you, Molly? Yeah. Hasn't crashed out at all today whatsoever. So it's going to be a fun one. But no, at the moment, everything is pretty much the same as it was beforehand. We have made a couple of changes going in from 2 days ago, Monday, which I'll go through a little bit later on. Nothing like drastic, but with how the last week was, definitely had to pay close eye to a couple of things. It was a very, very stressful week to say the least. However, everything's all sound now, which is good. So yeah, there's not really like a great deal of change that's happened since the last video. Food is just pretty much bang on 600 gram of carb for training days. Fats are around the 50 mark, and then protein is still is the exact same, I'll be honest. So yeah, there's no changes there. I don't think there really is any much change at all. So it's not really one of those videos where I'm like, oh my god, everything's changing, wow. I do apologise, but definitely a couple of things which I do want to go over. Is there anything else which I wanted to talk about right now? I don't think so, but it's been a very good morning. We have had, to be fair, since the last video that I would have posted, had Will on stage, I believe, anyway, yeah. Yeah, first show of the season, which is absolutely lovely, or first show of the season for him. Jumped into a very, very early show, and I mean very early. Will's physique is really cool because it changes very, very quickly. I think we literally ran one high day prior to peak week, because he just didn't run flat whatsoever. And training performance is still absolutely flying. Annoyingly, the show, which I did say to him before, and I was like, mate, you're more than welcome to go and do it, but it was never going to be like a really busy show. It was the Two Bros 10X Athletic, and Two Bros shows, unfortunately, even though they are like your only route towards the IFBB, right? They're not like rammed. They're very expensive, and especially at this time of year, they're never going to be like full of people. So I did tell him that, but still want to do it. Juniors was the only one, and there was one other dude in his open class, where Will came second, fucking annoyingly. I personally think should have won that. I understand why the other guy won. He was a lot bigger, especially through the rear, but Will was a lot more conditioned, and I think the front pose Will did beat him on. But it's bodybuilding. Who gives a shit? But no, he's back in for PCA Wales in just over 2 weeks from now. Is it just over 2 weeks? Yes, just over 2 weeks from now. We've got PCA Midlands, and then 2 rows afterwards. So it should be some exciting times ahead. But for the pre-workout meal, back to myself, we have got 130 grams of Trained by JP cream of rice. We've got 40 grams of whey. That's the Trained by JP one as well. 100 grams of banana, raspberries, blueberries, 20 grams of dark chocolate, and 20 grams of honey. Bosh, lovely. But yeah, in for legs today. My split actually has changed. I have changed around a couple of bits of my split, mainly because I was training legs on Monday. I was then doing legs and back on Saturday, and as much as legs aren't somewhere where I need to bring up massively, I still want to be bringing them up. And with literally 2 sleeps between my leg work, I never really felt that Monday session was that productive, and I just feel like I could get a bit more out of it. So I switched around my back and delt session from Wednesday, which is today, to Monday, and then I had legs today. Leg training, a lot better. The issue then is I had the same issue with back that I had with legs. So my back training was on a Saturday and it was also on a Monday, but then my back's a priority that I need to bring up. But I had a look at a couple of things, and I've basically had a chat with Tim. We've moved on a couple of bits of my training, which kind of gives me a bit of like an unorthodox kind of split, but it works, and that's what matters. So it is back and delts on Monday, push and arms Tuesday, legs and delts today, rest. Friday is back, arms and delts, and then Saturday is my pressing compounds and my basic chest and legs. Bit weird, but I'm actually looking forward to it. But yeah, it means that my back work is a lot more spaced out. Still got delts at 3 times a week frequency, and this now should be all good. So yeah, it is just gone 9 a.m. I have got 2 more check-ins to do, and then we are going to be heading off to the gym. A couple of things which I want to have a chat about anyway, like outside just me. So it'll be one of those videos where I do sit down and just chat a bit of shit. But I'm also going to try and take the DJI. I'm going to take the DJI and I'm going to film some of my session. I will just talk over some bits, but then anything where I'm just like, anything where I'm like, this is just a cool set, I'll just let the set run. So yeah, fun stuff. And this t-shirt is definitely very tight. Okay, so hopefully you can hear me. The music is very loud and I don't have the mic on, which is great. But it's the same leg session which I would have filmed. I think I filmed some isolations for it maybe, but this is hopefully going to be just the full session. So lateral raise to start off, 2 working sets there. Still hasn't changed. I do feel like I can maybe go for 3, but do I need to? No. Like, I've got delts at 3 times a week. Not that it's going to take away from the rest of the session, but I would rather just like, even like systemically, have more energy to go into my compound movements towards the end of the session, like my squat press and my glute drive, where like I've not got as much frequency for those body parts throughout the remainder of the week. So when I do have the chance to train them, I want to be going into them with a lot less systemic fatigue. And not that I give a shit about fatigue management. If you do, you're gay. Sorry, but you are. But I want to just go into it a bit more, also a bit quicker, to be honest. And also at the same time with volume, like my Cybex, I don't know if it's Cybex, but the squat press that's here, I have that as a rest pause set. The issue is I can never really rest pause it. I probably will be able to today, but at the same time it's like I would rather not leave 1 rep in the tank. I'd rather just fucking send it, take that assisted rep if I need to at the end, but then the ability to actually even get another rep after 5 or 10 seconds rest is pretty minimal. So I did last week just do 2 sets,
I might just do 2 today. That's the only like thing I'm kind of auto-regulating here, is whether that set becomes 2 sets or it just stays at a rest pause set. But it'll depend on how the set goes. If the set is immaculate and I'm like absolutely fucked afterwards and I'm like, that was exceptionally good, then I'll probably leave it there. If I'm like, okay, it was really, really good, but I feel like I've got a little bit more to give in my quads, then I will do another one. So I'm not training legs now until Saturday. Well, training quads until Saturday anyway. Legs and curls Saturday. By the way, 2 working sets of the lateral raise. That was the first, which felt really, really good. With this, is it Life Fitness? Yeah, Life Fitness lateral. It's like, there's 2 types. There's one which they have here, and there's one which they have back at home when I'm in UFit. The one in UFit is like exceptionally light. I can stack it with like 5-10 kilos added. This, I'm only just getting half down the stack, but I'd argue it feels a bit more compact, and it feels a bit better, to be honest, but it is very, very heavy. But no, 2 sets on there. We then go to the adductor, which I'll go through as well. I believe that's just 2 heavy sets today. And then laying ham, seated ham, leg extension. But yeah, all good. Hopefully you can hear me, otherwise this just isn't in the video. Okay, so in terms of an adductor, they haven't really got one in the gym which is like that heavy. The 2 ones they've got is the Cybex Eagle one, which is the one that I'm doing, and the Life Fitness. The Life Fitness, if you've ever used it, is like incredibly smooth, but it is ridiculously light. Like, I think I've pinned 100 onto it, like pretty easily. And yeah, like it's one of those things where if you don't have a gym pin, if you can't gym pin it, it's pretty much pointless if you're a guy. Sorry to any guys who can't gym pin it. But they've now banned gym pins on it, and essentially only banned gym pins on the adductors, which is really annoying. The Cybex Eagle one is a little bit heavier, and I can alter the seat just to be a bit further back, so I feel like I can just drive my knees in a little bit easier and can just isolate my adductors a bit better. But my first set is a 5 to 8. The stack is pushing at 12. So what I'm going to start implementing I pretty much did last week, but I'm going to start implementing it full time from now, is manually changing the resistance profile of the machine. And it's something which I spoke about with a client the other day, is how you can use a machine which alters the resistance profile, right? Fantastic. But at the same time, that's also what we're trying to do when we have a pause in contraction, a pause in the lengthening, a pause in the stretching. When you're placing a pause in that area, you are making that movement harder in that position. So what I can do here, where the movement is, where the machine is fairly light, I can place a 3-second pause in both ends of the rep. I can make my eccentric 3 to 4 seconds long. Yeah, that's going to be pretty fucking boring, but it's going to make the movement a lot harder, and that's something which, as a bodybuilder, is you're not trying to be efficient with your movements. You're not trying to make reps move really efficiently. You're not trying to move from A to B as fast as possible. You are trying to make the muscle work as hard as you can. So with me placing a lot more emphasis through the eccentric, through the shortened range, through the lengthened range, I'm making that movement harder. My adductors are having to work more. I'm going to get more out of them. So it's actually, in a way, a massive positive as well. Okay, so Adapter was genuinely really good. Like, as much as it's a bit more of a ball ache to not just be able to do like a regular straight set with like a micro pause at the bottom, but actually when you are forced to have to do those pauses yourself, you'll notice that you actually get a whole lot more out of it, and why I think it is really big rationale to, even on movements where you can have an optimal resistance profile, whether it's a perfect hamstring curl, a perfect leg extension, or a prime bit of kit, I really think there's still merit to manipulating the resistance profile yourself and placing that pause there. Even if you take it away from the internal feel, actually be able to standardise a set and have that pause in the short, have that pause in the length, where you're not using momentum, using inertia, is something which I think is really important too. Because if you're just bouncing from A to B, you're not going to really get much out of the muscle. By the way, onto the leg hamstring curl. It's the Paramount one, which I haven't really ever seen in many other gyms, but it is really good. The angle of like the bench where like your pelvis is, like in your hips are, isn't that harsh, so it is a bit challenging to really like anchor myself down into it, but I feel like I've got into a decent sort of spot with this now, and it does feel really good. The issue is, it's like I can move a good amount of weight there, but maybe not have that same hard bite through my hamstrings. But then if I chase getting that hard bite through my hamstrings and that really harsh internal connection, then I end up having to do like a 20 rep set, which is annoying. And I do think internal connection is something which is massively overlooked. I think if you do a set of something and you at least don't come off the machine or finish the movement and that muscle has got blood in it and it feels pumped, you've been a bit of an idiot. But I also think even on like a compound movement, if you can have that internal connection while you're doing the movement, great, brilliant. So, but especially when it comes to isolation, I'm really thinking to just like initiate through my hamstrings. Like when you see the set that I'm going to do now, you'll see that I actually start by doing the first 5% of the movement. I then hold for a brief second, and then I really think to actually anchor my hips down, force my quads down into the pads, and fire my ankles up. And almost think to imagine to like pinch my ankles and my glutes together. I will also note on a hamstring curl, when I get to a point where I can actually notice my hips rising up, that's where I will stop the rep just before that, because I'd rather just make the whole rep as much hamstring dominant as I possibly can, as opposed to any other sort of body parts coming involved with it. So yeah, there you go. This isn't my set, this is a pull-up. But no, 2 sets here. I believe it's again just like a bit more of a straight top set, back off set sort of approach. And from 5 to 8, 8 to 11. So you'll see the 5 to 8. And then yeah, I'll probably chat over. I either do the leg extension next or I do the seat ham. It depends on how I'm feeling, but I'll talk about that in a second. I'm not sure how the angle is, not sure how you can hear me either way. 2 sets then on the leg ham. The second set was about 12 to 15 rep range. I don't actually know what a rep range is. I think it's supposed to be 8 to 12, but it was around 12 to 15 reps, it's a bit higher. I don't really log book this session anymore. I am going to sort my logbook out, and I am going to get one sorted. I say get one sorted, just get some sheets on my phone. And start like penciling things in, because I think I've done really well so far this year. So I haven't logged what single thing this year of just taking progressions that I feel comfortable taking. Like if I feel I want to go heavy, I'll just go heavy. If I want to go a bit lighter but just get even more reps, I'll do that. and it's working well, but I am definitely missing the goals for every single set to go and beat, so I'm going to go and sort that out. But second set was like 2 pins off the stack, so 150 there, and then we've got the Cybex handkill, 1 set here with double rest pulls. So what I'll do here is 1 set which is like 11 to 15 reps. Oops, shit. Hello. 1 set, 11 to 15 reps, and then I'll rest for 5, maybe 7 seconds or so. Nothing like massively too long. And then I'll go back in, and I'll do the exact same thing, go back in. That last round of reps, I'm lucky if I'm even getting 1, but even attempting that last rep and getting towards really, really high stimulative reps that I don't have to go through multiple reps prior to which is going to almost like pre-exhaust and pre-fatigue me. It's a really good way to get a little bit more bang for your buck and a little bit more hamstring work done here prior to go around to the quad and then finish off the glute work, because the session isn't really that long. It's literally this hand curl now, leg extension, leg press, which it's 1 set. I'm going to do 1 set. I'm just not going to miss. I'm not going to be a pussy. And then 2 sets of glute drive, which is really not too long. So where here I can do a normal straight set and then 2 rest pauses, where if I'm going to get 3-4 reps out of those 2 rest pauses, it's probably going to be actually a lot more bang for your buck than just doing 2 straight working sets, which then I can just go to 2 working sets with 2 double rest pauses. So yeah, food for thought, guys. Absolutely brutal, and it is very hot here as well. I'm not too sure if anyone's noticed. I haven't got my headphones in. Why? I forgot. Partly, some of the time I don't really mind like not listening to any like music directly until I go into really see up my quad stuff. So I feel like with quad work, you definitely need to grit through it a lot more. So I don't really like this too much there, but I also do kind of forget. But regardless, really good set on that. Like, it's quite mental how like after that first rest pause, you are in a lot of pain. It's a good pain. But regardless, now we've got the Eagle leg extension. I was doing like the regular one, you'll see here. But the range of motion on there isn't really too good, so I'm going to try this one out today, which I've already tried like on a few warm-ups. It's a lot heavier, which is good, because I was having to gym pin that and the only like plates I could actually fit on it were 10, so there's multiple of 10s, and then it wasn't really too fun. So Cybex Eagle leg extension is in 2 sets, just 2 7 to 11 here, 2 7 to 11 and then 15 here, and this is normally now where I will sit my intro, which is only 15 grams of VAs and 20 grams of high bounce dextrin with a serving of Hydromax in there as well. So there you go. Was that my pump? No, it's not. I got it right today. The other day I took my pump intra and my intra pre. Didn't go too well. By the way, 2 sets on here. I will film one of them, and I think mine needs a spot, so I'll go and spot her and maybe film it as well. But she was a bit today. It's not best. That felt a lot better than the legs which I've been doing previously. Like being able to get a little bit more range of motion, and again just really emphasise the short term range, which I do think not enough people do with a leg extension anymore. I remember back in like 2021, 2022, a pause in the short on a leg extension is what everyone did. Maybe not like every movement as well really, but I used to remember like literally just programming or seeing people heavily emphasising that contractile range and squeezing the living shit out of their quads at the top of a leg extension. People don't do it anymore because, yeah, there's reason to think, there's research suggesting we have more hypertrophic potential in the lengthened position of the movement. Yeah, maybe. But, and let's say quote unquote, you're weaker in the short range, right? But what if you get really good at that? What if you get really good being in a position which your body is weaker in? We're going to grow a lot of muscle. And at the same time, if you look at somebody who go onto a leg extension which is relatively heavy and in full control, fully extend their knee, pause at the top, get a really contraction through the quads, ease and stick eccentric, do the same, and do that 10-15 times in a set, they're probably going to have big legs. That's what I'm trying to do now. When I'm in with someone who can spot, I'm always trying to strap up to this where I can. Just so it means that like I'm not having to like actively pull myself down as much as I normally would do, because I'm actually like fully strapped in, which I do think massively helps. And to be fair, with this pivot press, as much as the depth isn't the same as I can get on like a Cyvex one, the handles are in a better position because they're slightly internally rotated as well, and they're not rubber or anything like that. It's just a metal, so it's a lot easier to strap up to. So we have my feet lower as well. What I'm going to basically aim for is like a 10 plate sort of set here, where I want this to be pretty much 10 reps. I want 10 for 10. If I don't get it today, I'll get it next week. But I still want to have a good pause at the bottom. I had the hack squat on Saturday where I had that pause at the bottom and it felt absolutely fantastic. So I'm just going to throw it onto all my leg training. As much as I probably don't need to make my quad training much harder. My quads grow enough. It's more fun, it's more challenging. So yeah, we'll whack on 10 plates and we'll see how we do. But I'm not going to talk about anything more now. I kind of want to just put the camera on and just maybe go a bit mental, but have a bit of fun.
And we're back home for the post-workout meal. I'm absolutely fucking starving. Very good session. Probably my best session in the last couple of weeks, which is fucking sick. Lovely. So post-workout meal is 150 grams of cream of rice. I've also got 40 grams of whey and 40 grams of frosted flakes on there. If you don't know, get to know. Putting a bit of a low-fat cereal on your cream of rice is just absolutely fucking elite. 20 grams of, I think it's 20 grams of honey. Is it 20 grams of honey or is it banana? It would help if I knew. 50 grams of banana, 200 grams of raspberries / blueberries / whatever. Which is supposed to work a meal. I also have 5 IUs of Lantus going in with this meal. Now you're probably thinking, oh my god, a post-workout meal. Surely it makes more sense to use Novorapid, baby. Yeah. However, we are basically using Lantus as a bit of like a prophylactic here. So it is 5 IUs pre-bed. This is absolutely battered. 5 IUs pre-bed and 5 IUs is meal 2. This is my meal 2. Obviously, if I'm training on more than one meal, my pre-workout meal basically then becomes my meal 2, so that's when it goes in. But and the reason why we are using this as well, my food isn't like ridiculously high, and my blood glucose levels now are in a good spot. And I'm going to get onto why a bit later on, why we're using this and basically why the last week has been a bit hectic, a bit all over the shop. Because yeah, it's not been fun. It has not been fun. Very stressful last couple of days. Well, 5 days, 4 days kind of. There we go, 50 grams, lovely. But we actually are now all sound. But kind of a little bit of a health scare, kind of. I'm absolutely fine. We kind of thought I wasn't absolutely fine. But I am now absolutely fine. I'm going to leave you guys hanging and I'm going to just tell you later. Oh, for fuck's sake. That's going to be it. Either way, post-workout meal is that. Will I show you the finished product? Maybe. What's this? Is that raspberries? Yeah. There we go. It looks something. Fucking come on, you bastard. Please, I'm fucking knackered. There we go. Fucking shit freezer as well. Like that. That's the post-workout meal. But no, very good session. Very, very happy. One of those sessions where like I just felt like everything was moving really, really nice. Nothing was feeling off. Everything was great. Nice to actually train with my girlfriend as well, because we don't really get a chance to really train too much together. So today was nice.
as she started work a bit later. Started work a bit later today, which meant that we had the morning to get into the gym and train. And now it's kind of a day of like chilling out. I say chilling out. I've still got a couple of bits I need to do, and based up my afternoon and evening after I've decompressed, and I probably am going to need to decompress a good bit because I am absolutely fried. I then give myself a bit of time to sit down, chill out, and I say chill out, think about some content to post. The joys of online coaching, right? But yeah, that's the post-workout meal with 5 IUs of this lovely stuff going in. And I will probably have a nap, have a shower, because I fucking stink, and catch you for the other 3. Right, okay, so are actually a couple of other changes going. So Split is now different. Lantus is now in, which is a very, very funny story. I'll explain in a bit. But I voiced a couple of things to Tim, which I was literally like, also mentioned the Split, and I also mentioned, I was like, my pumps in the gym are all right, they're not amazing. And I couldn't put my finger on why it was. And for God knows how long, I've always preferred being on a higher amount of sodium day to day. And since the end of prep, we pulled my electrolytes around, so it was 7 grams of pink salt a day and 2 grams of pink salt a day. No, 7 grams of low salt, 2 grams of pink salt a day. And we did that because post-show, removing aldactone, which was in for like maybe 3 or 4 weeks, I think. So I had 2 back-to-back shows at the start of May, which we used then, and I'm pretty sure we then just kept it in until the universe. When you then remove a diuretic, especially when you've used one for a long period of time, like aldactone isn't like a diazide, you wouldn't just use aldactone like the night before. Then you get a bit of a rebound from that. And then it was just staying for like a little bit longer, and I was like, can we just move around? So he was like, yeah, fine, cool. So, what was it? We definitely did something then, but I think we also tweaked it after, or maybe like when we were using growth hormone insulin. Either way, it was there. And I was like, my pumps aren't great. Like, I feel relatively full, but my contractions aren't like that hard. I'm not that vascular. Where I just could be. So, salt is now 7 grams of pink salt is staying there, but from Monday, Tuesday, and today, 5 grams of pink salt. Then it goes 7 grams Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday goes to 9. So it'll be next week 9 grams pink salt, 7 grams low salt, which probably is why like, my body weight is already up like 2 pounds or so, just from having additional sodium. So I'm not really that. I'm not noticing any like carpal tunnel or anything like that. Shouldn't be with an extra like 3 grams of salt, and I imagine it would be lesser jumps with 7 and 9. However, if it is, I don't care. It makes sense, right? But either way, that's the first thing. Second thing, which is looking back, it's fucking hilarious. But this time last week, I was not happy. So I didn't have a blood glucose monitor when I was back in Cardiff. I went home for about a week, and then got back to Nottingham. And then the following day, we went to Essex for the Two Bros show, and then we came back Saturday night. So then Monday when I checked in, I took blood glucose levels, took my blood pressure. Normally I do it like 3-4 times a week anyway, but I hadn't for a bit of time. And it was maybe 3 weeks after growth hormone had been fully removed. And growth hormone was maybe bringing up my fasted blood glucose levels, but not ridiculously high. Well, not ridiculously high in relation to what I'm about to say. My fasted blood glucose was about 11.5. Great, brilliant, incredibly insulin resistance. We're like, right, that's a bit weird. So I retested it, said the same, like bang on exactly the same. And then we tracked it just before my post-workout meal. It was like 1 higher. And then every time I did it, so from fasted Monday to post-workout Monday, to fasted Tuesday to post-workout Tuesday, then going into Wednesday, it went up by 1.
every single time. And then we're like, right, this really isn't good. We had metformin in. We added it back in on Monday, or last Monday. No insulin usage, no growth hormone usage, so it was just literally just there. So yeah, that wasn't good at all. So we basically pulled out or the vast majority of all high GI carbohydrates, dropped carbs by around 200, 250, and then increased dietary fats to 100 from about 50 and 60 or so, maybe. I don't know where they are. So yeah, that was not fun because I'm very autistic. I like my food. I like the same food I've had for the last 4 or 5 years. Maybe I'll change up something every now and then, but generally I like my food. So that just pissed me off, and especially because it wasn't just like, here's some oats. It was, yeah, here's some oats, but then you've got like 30 grams of cream of rice and then like 50 grams of... I thought it was the character from the little like pigeon thing from Harry Potter called Buckbeak, but it was called Buckwheat, so it wasn't the same thing. And then it was like yogurt and fucking bran flakes. I had to buy things from the free from section. Jesus Christ. So yeah, that wasn't fun. And the next day it came down to 9. I was like, still fucked, but it's a lot better than 14, right? Which is. And then Friday went back up to like 12 or 13, and I was like, there's no improvement. I've got diabetes, I'm going to die. And also I was just pissed off that I couldn't just have my normal food. Like I was actually like, just before growth hormone went in, I was having a decent bit of just my normal food, and I'm happy with that, and I want to keep it like that. So I was a bit annoyed. But then I thought, just double check this is right. Called Molly into the room, which probably get gauge from what you've seen on here. She's not a happy bunny in the morning. Very stressed, like genuinely borderline dangerous human being in the morning. So the fact that she even came to him, I was fucking over the moon. I was like, Jesus Christ, this is groundbreaking already. Then I was like, right, give me a hand. She was like, no, it's going to hurt. I was like, no, please, I don't care if it hurts. Don't take that out of context. Either way, tested her blood glucose levels, which she was also fasted. Maybe she had a coffee, I don't know. 11.6. So hers was also fucked. Now the issue is, hers wouldn't be 11.6 because she's a couple of weeks out and she's pretty lean. Basically, the blood glucose monitor was fucking useless. So it was about 5 days of thinking that I had some severe issue. And then we put Lantus in on the Wednesday, and that wasn't doing really anything. And yeah, so it's all for nothing. Great. But we're keeping Lantus in almost like a what's the word? I can't think of the word. Begins with P. God, mine's gone blank. Either way, almost like something in the background that's going to tick things through. My blood glucose levels are like 4.6, 4.8, something like that, as of the last 2 days. So we all good there. So yeah, that's that. I have, since the last time that I filmed, I have chilled out. Actually, I say I've chilled out. I have sat here. I have fallen asleep for about 20 minutes. I was watching some Avengers Endgame, which is I'm still going to finish, and then I had a shower. That's that. And any minute now, my veg will be done. I can have my meal 3. So I'll catch you for that. But yeah, that's basically the update. I don't think there's anything else. New split, salt, not insulin resistant, not dying. I'm pretty sure that's it. I ain't dying, kids. So my next meal is the exact same as what the meal after is. So I ain't going to show you it twice. Well, it's not exactly the same, but it's pretty similar, right? So I'm not going to show you it twice. However, it is 150 grams of chicken breast. Fucking hell, it's hot. 100 grams of jasmine rice, and 100 green beans, 100 peppers. Not individual, obviously, because that would be a lot of peppers, and probably a lot of green beans actually as well. I mean 100 grams, just to like kind of clear that bit up for everybody. I don't think anybody actually really thought I was going to have 100 peppers. That would be probably not a very good use of money either. I think that money would be a lot better spent on finding a way for me to use growth hormone without borderline dying. So yeah, that's the meal. Whack some sauce on it. The peppers were not as crispy as I'd liked, but the green beans are about to die. So yeah, I'm not going to put any more on that. And while I'm eating this, I will whack in my other lot of veg for the other chicken rice meal, which is exactly the same, but it has 10 grams of peanut butter oil. And that is that. And I'm basically now, for the rest of the day, doing steps. I say doing steps, I'm still absolutely, like, you know when you've had like a really, really good leg session and you just feel absolutely out of it. So for the next like hour or so, I'm going to sort some bits out in the flat. I need to get steps in at some point. I also need to get a crate of Monsters because we haven't got any, and I don't really fancy coffee in the mornings anymore. Maybe because it's hot and like tomorrow's like 36 degrees. I think I'd rather just have a white Monster, to be honest. That being said, my girlfriend is on prep, so I do need to be a bit more considerate and get the rosy ones. And I'm also basically a fucking housewife and got to sort out Molly's food for tomorrow. I say got to, I offered, which is nice. And yeah, while I say I'm doing niche for the next hour, while I'm doing all that and going back and forth towards the kitchen, I will get back to some training clips that have been sent over. Usually, like I've said before, like I will just leave them towards the morning. However, my Thursdays are very, very busy. So I don't really want to make the morning just like an absolute stress fest with the fact that I'll also get more work come through. Like I do get a lot of training clips come through about sort of like 10, 11 p.m, which I'm not going to get back to them then because I'm trying to get to bed. But with everything, like people who don't coach and whatnot, if they work like a 9 to 5 and they head to the gym in the afternoon or evening really, and then they're sending their stuff over afterwards. So for anyone who's sending clips over then, I'll leave until the morning. But anyone who's already sent clips through from maybe this morning or this afternoon, I will try and get back to them a little bit towards this afternoon. Also gives me a lot more to do when the person I live with isn't here, because it is otherwise pretty fucking boring. But it's also the joys of online coaching, it's the monotony, and to be fair, as much as I do think online coaching is a glorified office job, and I'm going to speak about coaching actually in a bit, because I did put a post the other day, which has done quite well. But as much as it is a glorified office job, it really does teach you a lot of things which bodybuilding also teaches you. Shit. And it also, if you can adopt the life of being an online coach, which is quite monotonous, it's quite boring, it's a lot of the same thing every single day. If you can get good at that, and you can get good at that lifestyle, you're probably going to be an alright bodybuilder as well, because you have to do a lot of the same stuff all of the time. But that's a conversation for another time in about 10 seconds. So I'll get this meal down and have a chat at some point when I can be asked. And yeah, for the rest of the day, it's very, very chilled out, which is nice. Just annoying that I do have some steps to do, but I just cannot be bothered to go outside because it is absolutely fucking steaming. It's not fun. Prophylactic. That was the word I was on about. That's the word I couldn't think of.
as soon as I turn the camera off, King's mad. Fucking great. Either way, when I did film a video last week that I just ended up deleting because the next day was sort of like changing everything around, and I was like, there's no point putting a video up, which is already incredibly out of date. I spoke about something which I put a post up the other day, or last week about, which is kind of in regards to coaches or people who want to get into coaching, right? Now, coaching is absolutely fantastic. If you're in it for the right reasons. And what I mean by that is you're in it because you want to help people get a result that they want. You want to help people feel better about themselves. You want to help people feel more confident, get healthier, like literally, like in terms of, like if saying someone's really overweight, getting them into shape, not only for confidence reasons, but also because it's healthier, right? So you're actually trying to do a good job. The issue is you do see a lot of people who you can just tell immediately they're in it because they're trying to become a coach because they see people who are at the top of the game who have been doing it for a very, very long time, but they don't see that. They just see people who are online coach, who have sports car, big house or apartment, nice clothes, whatever, right? They see that and they attach online coaching brings that. And it's very similar to when someone wants to become a footballer when they're younger and they're like, oh yeah, be footballer because footballer brings money. Yeah, it does. Fuck a lot more money than coaching, right? But you're never just going to be a footballer. And that's the thing with coaching is, yeah, you can just be a coach. But in my opinion, you really need to make sure that you are doing it for the right reasons. And you are doing it because you actually genuinely give a shit about people. Because if you want to be an online coach because you want to earn money, whatever, but you don't care, you're never going to earn that money. Never. I've been coaching for the last 5 years. Would I say I'm at the top of the game? Absolutely not. Would I say I am earning as much money as I really, really want to? No. I'd say I'm comfortable. I'd say I'm in a good spot. I'm able to provide for myself, provide for my girlfriend where I need to. I live in a pretty nice apartment. I've got a nice car. But am I in a position where I really, really want to be in like 3-4 years? No. I'm way off that. But if I want to get there, me chasing that and me chasing money, what you see some people trying to do now, it's never going to get me there. That's the issue. That's the thing with coaching is you're never going to directly. There's nothing you can do to directly make more money. There is nothing I can do to directly get more clients. Everything is indirect. Everything is, okay, I'm going to turn up every single day for work. I'm going to continue to provide a good service. I'm going to continue to post informative content, whether it's through Instagram or YouTube or whatever. But if you're not in it for the right reasons, you're not going to be doing that background work. And that's not me saying, oh yeah, now get into it for the right reasons. No, it's just probably not the right job for you. Like, that's fine. But you need to care. And the best coaches also massively give a shit. And that's why they're the best. Because they didn't start off being the most knowledgeable coach in the world. They didn't start off being this specialist in this area. No, they just fucking cared. And that's something which, if you don't have as a coach, you ain't going to get very far. I'm not the most knowledgeable coach in the world. Absolutely not at all. But I can fucking guarantee I fucking care just as much as the people at the top. Because I care, if I don't know something, I will go and find it out. And if I can't apply that to client A, I might be able to go and apply it to client G. And so on and so forth. The second thing is kind of ties into that. And it's again people who are not in coaching for the right reasons. How do I get better clients? You fucking make them. It's your job. And it really winds me up when I see people saying that. How do I get better clients? Why not go back to your fucking Google Sheets, go back to your WhatsApp, go back to your Loom, go back to your fucking app, whatever fucking shit you use, and you go to your clients who are checking in with you, you get them the result they want, and you make them into better clients. You get the client who can't be accountable, who struggles to stay consistent with things. You get that client to be accountable, you get them to be consistent, and you get them into shape. You get the person who has never been able to lose weight to go and lose weight. You get the person who has been always a little bit, let's say, not confident enough, or a little bit not confident, the person who's never been confident enough to go and train in a vest, That's getting the fucking good results. That is getting the better clients. That is getting the clients who are going to stay with you for years, because you go out and you get them a result. When a client checks in, view that as not only their opportunity to feed back to you, but view that as your opportunity to improve them. How can you make things easier for them in the next week? How can you make things less of a struggle for them? How can you guarantee better results for them? Whether it's through what you're saying, how you're talking to them, but also what you're providing. That's how you get the better clients. And again, it's the same boat of people. It's the same boat of people who are saying how to get the better clients, who are coaches who don't care enough about their actual pool of clients. And also at the same time, it's fucking rude to your actual clients. Can you imagine if I put on my story, oh, it's a bit annoying, like client check-ins are a bit shit. I just want better clients. What? If I've got clients who, let's say, they're not as consistent as them with things, to a certain extent, I'm not gonna lie, that kind of excites me, because I'm like, right, cool, that's me working harder, because I've got to get this person a result, and I've got to challenge myself here. It's not just a case of, okay, this person is 100% adherent all of the time. If they are, fantastic, easy. But if they're not, cool. Doesn't mean they can't get results. It means I've got to find a different way. I've got to find a way for them to be adherable. That's how you get better clients. Because then that client who couldn't adhere to a nutrition plan, you get them to adhere to some form of nutrition plan. If they can't follow a train day and a rest day diet because it confuses them too much, get them to follow the same food every day. If they want variety, okay, can you have 3 or 4 different meal plans which they enjoy all of the food on there, which still add up to the same carbs, fats, protein and calories? Yeah, then they've got the flexibility. Can you educate them on how to structure an off-plan meal towards their calorie intake so that they don't completely fuck up their week? Yeah, that's how you encourage flexibility. That is still coaching. That is coaching, if anything, more. It's a lot easier, to coach clients who are 100% adherable. It doesn't mean that the clients who aren't are uncoachable. And that is my fucking biggest annoyance at the moment, is seeing people say, oh, this person's uncoachable. There's a pool of people who aren't coachable. I get that. I completely agree with that. But there is also a larger pool of people who are being deemed as uncoachable, who just need someone who genuinely gives a fucking shit. And at the moment, coaching is a very saturated issue. I say at the moment, it's always been a very saturated industry. And there's always going to be more people trying to get into it. And if you are trying to get into it, you can still become a very good online coach. You can still become a very busy online coach. Is it probably harder than it was late 2010s? Yeah, 100%. But if you are good and you want to be good and you genuinely give a shit about the clients that you work with, you'll get there. It might take 6 months. If it does, it's fucking great. It might take 5 years, might take 6, might take 10. But if that's what you want to do, you can do it. You just need to understand that you need to constantly give a shit and not get wound up if a client eats off plan. Because they're still trying. They're not doing it personally to you, right? So that's my little Josh Jenkins talk. I hope you enjoyed. I've got to charge this DJI and I've got to sort out my girlfriend's food and I've got to do my steps. We've got a meal to eat at some point. Probably like the next hour or so. Same meal. Right, meal number 5. Which I'm still making. Again, it's the exact same shit it probably was last time. I have, since the last bit, knocked off some steps, then realised that the food I need to get for tomorrow, they
don't sell in the Tesco by me, which is absolutely brilliant. And to be fair, it's not really a negative thing because I can't be arsed walking back from Tesco with a crate of Monsters. So I'll get this done, and I'm picking Molly up from work again. And I'm so nice. I'm saying it as if I'm like complaining about it. It will also help me do my steps because I'll just go to like Asda or something and get some Monsters. I need to get some turkey bacon for tomorrow because my rest day, one is eggs, turkey bacon, and some sourdough. I don't think there's much else I need to get, which is lovely. But for the next half an hour, I can actually just sit down, chill out, and get this meal done, and watch some. I'm about to say like as if it was like normal for me, even though it is kind of, I guess, normal. Bodybuilding YouTube, which I haven't really done until like this year, really. But yeah, I'll just sit down and watch a couple of people training or something. I feel like an actual bodybuilder now. It's really weird. So that's cool. So it is 120 grams of oats with 20 grams of dark chocolate, 55 grams of whey, 50 grams of banana. Did I say dark chocolate? 20 grams of dark chocolate, and then fruit. There you go. And that finishes off today's food, which is 256 grams of carb, 53 grams of fat, and 606. I say carb, Jesus Christ. 256 grams of protein, 53 fat, 606 carb, just under 4,000 calories. There you go. And my appetite is absolutely ravenous, to be fair. Which is a very nice space to be in. It's very annoying. If only, you know, like the Retta stuff that what fucking went on as well. God, imagine if I could also run that, which would improve insulin sensitivity, so I wouldn't have had that fucking scare thingy-majiggy last week. Would have had it improve lipid markers, even though our bloods were fine anyway, to be fair. And we would actually get full after a meal. I'm complaining, but I do think everything is aligned in perfectly so that I don't think I'm going to struggle with my appetite whatsoever this off season, and I have done in my last two. Yeah, my last two. So prior to about April sort of time last year, I had to pull back on food for a bit of time. We still stayed, like with the goal of building muscle. I was still on cycle, but we had like a 4-week sort of appetite reset, which did work very, very well. But the goal was literally just become resensitized when it comes to appetite, get that back firing, and then start pushing food back up. Obviously, I just completely thought, I was like, I'm a pussy, what the fuck? And then after a week, I was like, I could eat again, but it does take a little bit more time to sort of like reset or just like regain that, not normal, because I wouldn't say there's anything in bodybuilding which is normal, but regain your ghrelin to be, like actually signaling that you're hungry. Because it's not going to be like, oh, have a couple of days on lower food and bang, you're fine. No, you kind of do want a bit of a harsher reset. But I don't think that's going to happen. And then even when I started prep in 2024, and definitely 2023, fuck me, I think I spent like 6 months without an appetite at all from like back in 2022 towards the start of prep, which is like basically the start of May 2023 with like zero appetite on like 700 plus grams of carb. Was not fun, and I was incredibly overweight. And then I started prep 2024 with no appetite. I started this prep that I've done this year pretty hungry, to be fair, so I was a bit like annoyed. I was like, I'm starting a prep and I'm going to be hungry, it's annoying, that's not a great start. And then to be fair, within like a week of being in prep, I was actually like, yeah, I don't care. Like, I don't care. Like, I forgot what hunger was. Which does tend to happen when I get into a prep, which is good. But yeah, now I am fucking starving, which is a very, very good space to be in, because I do feel that even though I'm not like really deep into an off season or anything, of course I'm not, but even by like this time after my last prep and the prep before, like I was already at a point where I was literally like, yeah, food's alright. Oh, I've got to go and eat. That's a bit annoying. Like, whereas now I'm like, sick, cool. But yeah, 120 grams of oats, 55 grams of whey, some fruit. I ran out of blueberries, so probably need to get some blueberries, some Molly, because I wish I had a panic attack. And 50 banana, 200 fruit, dark chocolate. Bosh. There you go. Hope everyone's enjoyed. Another video which is very much the exact same as what it is before, but a nice chat about me and me being a bit of a fucking idiot. Great. Stay tuned. There's going to be loads more of these as the sort of season goes on. I can fucking guarantee you that for free. Sam Lloyd. Post-workout shots, and he's got some shorts on. Can I turn that off? Oh, shit. Oh, fucking hell. Fucking hell. There we go. Sam, there you go. You look very good. Lovely. For PCA men's physique tall, first timers. It's pretty fucking cool, that. Not bad. Lovely stuff. Right, I'm gonna get this down, head to the shop, get to bed, and then I guess they do it all again tomorrow. I'm not gonna do it all again tomorrow. I'm gonna do a rest day tomorrow and get my hair cut because I look fucking homeless. But thank you very much for watching. I'm gonna try and get back on this every week or so. Look forward to it, or don't. I don't care. Links down below for full bore and coaching. Nice one. See you in a bit.